It's a great day. My name is Shay Brown, the Happy Entrepreneur, and welcome to the Happy Entrepreneur Show, the number one business development and revenue focused late night show in the country where we're on a mission. And our mission is to empower, our mission is to inspire, and our mission is to provide you, the entrepreneur, with all of the resources that are necessary to execute that big vision you have for the people you were called to serve. And on this particular episode, we have the one and only Bina, who's in the building. I should be talking about Supermom. We'll find out about that. Supermom CEO in just a moment. Hello, Bina. How are you?
I am good. How are you? Thank you for having me on the show.
Thank you so much for being here, by the way. And, all the moms, all the dads, everybody's looking and saying, Supermom CEO. I like that, Shay. What in the LL Cool J is she talking about? Well, I don't know. Let's find out. So when you use the word Supermom CEO, can you tell us what does that mean to you and what does that look like to you?
So for me, Supermom CEO is I have 3 children with disabilities, 3 children with special needs, and I have two very successful businesses that I run at the same time. So what a Supermom CEO is being very successful as being a CEO, but also staying fully present with my children at the exact same time. And I think that's the biggest key in business, especially with moms wanting to become into entrepreneurship. Like they feel like there's a choice between having business and family life. And here I am to tell everybody that you can have both. The dream is there and you're able to do it.
So can we just address the elephant in the room for those folks that are watching? Somebody might be saying, Shay, that all sounds great. But does she ever feel guilty? Like as a person, and I'm speaking for dads, but there might be some moms out there like, man, I feel so guilty when I'm focused on doing my thing. And I feel like I'm taking away from the kids or from the family. So I guess the question is, and maybe it doesn't, what do you say to the mom out there that's looking at you saying, I've got a lot of responsibilities too. And sometimes I feel pretty guilty. How does Bina handle that?
Mom guilt never goes away. Like that's always going to be present no matter what we do in life, whether we feel like we didn't do the dishes correctly or the kids' laundry or we missed a practice or we missed a child's recital. Mom guilt's always going to be there. The number one thing I tell people is you have to be okay with what you're doing in life. And I thrive with doing multiple things, but I also make the intentional conscious decision to take time out for my children. So that way, it's all about prioritizing what it is that you want to do. So if my children has a ballet recital, my daughter, I'm going to make sure I calendar block it off. So that way, I know that it's present. And that way, as a business owner, no one else is able to take up that slot. So as a mom, what I do for my particular business is whatever I need done for myself and for my children and my husband, I put that on my calendar first because those are my non-negotiables. That way, when I'm present with my family, when I'm present with my husband, I'm present fully and I'm not worrying about the business at that given moment. And then when I have business time or a CEO time, I'm fully focused on just the business during those moments, especially when they're in school, like right now. They're in school.
And we're going to get into your backstory in a moment in just a second. But for those folks that are tuning in and they're looking at you saying, wow, Shay, look at that big smile. Look at what she has going on. If there was this one piece of advice that she could offer to me to take the first step so I can regain my sanity, regain my mindset. And here's the question. What does she tell herself? What is her mindset? What type of affirmations does she use, Shay? Because I've been off track. I hear what she's saying, and I need to get back on track. And you probably agree, life is a series of being on track and off track. So here's the question. What type of mindset, what type of affirmations, what type of things do you tell yourself when things don't go the way they should, you fall off track to get you back on track again?
Do it afraid. The biggest thing I tell everybody is you got to do it afraid. If you feel like you're getting off track for whatever reason in business or even as a mother, right? You got to make that conscious decision to even do it afraid. And when we do things that are uncomfortable and while we're still afraid, that's when the biggest growth is going to happen. And honestly, that's what's going to hold us back even the most. It's like, oh, I don't want to do this because I've been off balance for 2 or 3 weeks. Well, let's just get you recycle that and just get you back in that same momentum. But for me, it's doing it afraid. It's the biggest key that I've learned to my personal success, is that things are always uncomfortable. Things are always not going to be balanced in my life, especially with having 3 children with special needs. It's just knowing that I'm going to do my best for today, and that's all I can do. And I do it afraid. If I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it. And what's the worst that's going to happen? Someone tells you no. Okay.
Well said. Now they're curious, who are you? What is her backstory that led her on the journey she's on now, Shay? I didn't get a chance to go read her bio, Shay. I didn't get a chance to go Google her, Shay. I'm just tuning in. I'm busy. She said Supermom. I'm one of them right now. So I'm listening to her while I'm cooking. It's playing on my laptop or my iPad over there. So what is her backstory? Who is this woman that's talking? And what led her to do what she's doing now?
So I am a nurse coach. I'm a board certified nurse coach. And what a nurse coach is we are an experience. We are actual real life nurses with medical background, and we're giving people a holistic approach on how to move forward in life. My backstory is really when my son was born, my eldest son, and I was labeled as the nurse that was always calling off sick. And I knew that there has to be a change in this world for parents with special needs, or just a mom or a parent or anybody going through a difficult transition in life, and really wanting to give them the support that I didn't have 10 years ago. And now that's like my biggest thrive, is really embracing being a mom. I left bedside 2 years ago. I was an ER nurse, and I quit, and I knew there was a bigger mission for me in life, and I really really wanted to serve the community and really serve people to feel valued, to feel heard, to feel like there's a place for them to release their judgment, to release their social stigma, and be able to build their dream at the exact same time.
You talk about build their dream at the exact same time. A perfect segue. Thanks for sharing with us, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Dream, grow, breathe, smile. Let's take them one at a time. Mm-hmm. I know we only have so much time. I know there's something you can break down, but take a moment. Tell us, what does all those 4 words mean? Why is that one of your company's personal mantras? I think it's one of your company's mantras, by the way. And why is it so significant to you? So here's part 1 of the question. What does it all mean? Dream, grow, breathe, smile. Tell us about it.
So dream is, if you can dream it, you can make it happen. But also in motherhood, we also have dreams that are we have dreams for our children at the same time. And when we have those dreams and we make it a reality, it's our big joy in life, whether it's a business and or being a motherhood. Now, the growth is a lot of the self-development, right? How do you grow as a person? How are you actively deep listening, whether it's in business but along as a mother, listening to your children to what they need, the same way you would listen to help your business grow. And then the breathing part is really taking the step back, slowing your mind down, and embracing what is in front of you, and really acknowledging it to the full presence of just taking a conscious breath. And also knowing that when you are overwhelmed, when you do have 3 children running around, when you are on multiple calls throughout the day, that consciously taking your mind and slowing down just to a conscious breath really does help. And then the smile part is just fully accepting what's in front of you, having the grace behind it, and acknowledging exactly what you have done and you have accomplished in life, and smiling about it. Because even a small accomplishment, whether it's big or small, it's still an accomplishment. And for some moms, it might just be getting up, taking their children to school, and having a regular shower. Embrace it, because that's a big deal. And that's where you smile, because it's you're thanking yourself for doing a good job.
How are you able to keep your emotions intact? And we're gonna get back into the whole I like to smile part, I like to dream and grow. But how do you keep your emotions in track? I mean, you went from being an RN and helping folks every single day to now some of these folks you can't see. You get a chance to meet them through the power of these fiber optic lines like you and I are doing right now. Get to meet them on the phone, one of the ways that you and I met. But how are you able to be so effective when you're not like in the nursing room, you're not in the ER with these folks today, but you're still able to help them get the results they want? So the question is, which one of the formulas that you use to help folks get the results they're looking to receive?
To be your true authentic self. It's who you are. Like, connection is something that people empower, and it's an energy that is built between two people. If you come from a place of service, if you come from a place of true authenticity, and that will shine. And when people, that's what shines. And that's where the connections come. I can have connections and massive transformations with people over the phone, or I can have true massive conversations in person or via Zoom. Because what you see here is the exact same Bina, what you will see offline, online, with my kids or with my husband. Like, there is no other Bina. This is just who I am, even currently in this space. This is what you get.
Well, as we're looking at what we get, we're all curious. You've got a giraffe behind you. I don't know if that's purposely or not. We're all being nosy, looking over your shoulder. Like,
Mm-hmm.
Shay, what's the
Mm-hmm.
significance of the giraffe? It's like right in the picture, by the way. And then there's another giraffe to the right-hand side. Now, I don't know if the kids just put it there. I have no idea. But we're all nosy. We're curious. So why is a giraffe right there behind you? I mean, ladies and gentlemen, y'all can see it. I mean, I can't be the only person to see that. And why is it that yellow giraffe over there? So what's the backstory? Why is this so important to you? Come on, we want to know.
So the giraffes is my brand, actually, and the reason is because giraffes are just very like, they're just very magical, tall creatures, but they're very humble. And the one thing I love about giraffes is that their imprint is like a puzzle piece. It's just connected strictly to the particular giraffe. Just like with autism, both my children are autistic. It's just the significance behind it is just, you just don't know what type of puzzle piece you're going to fit into a box. And a giraffe just stands out. Like, you can't miss a giraffe at a zoo. Like, they're just really tall. Like, honestly, they're just very majestical. And it's just something that is like a force to be reckoned with, where it's just like, just because you're the tallest person in the room, the most presence in the room, they're also the most quietest and the most humblest. And they're just magical. So as I grow and my children grew, giraffes just always been a part of my life. Even when I was younger, I've just been fascinated with them. And putting the puzzle pieces together with the Autism Society, it's the puzzle piece that is with, the autism, that's their logo. And, now if you look at each individual giraffe, like, you can find different puzzle pieces depending on how it is on their body.
I like that. I love it. We're curious. Have you ever been to the zoo and seen a giraffe, like a real giraffe?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. They're like 8 to 10 feet tall. They're huge.
Yeah. I've been to the zoo. I was just curious. It was just curious. As we're talking and having this conversation, we have a segment here. I think this might be a perfect time. A segment here called Today is My January 1st. Now, for those folks that tune in every night at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you know what we're about to do. You can go ahead and say those magic words if you like. Today is my January 1st. Yay! Doesn't that feel so good? Happy New Year to you, by the way. And for all of the folks who are tuning in for the very first time, welcome to the Happy Entrepreneur Show. Today is my January 1st represents our personal mantra. It represents a fresh start. It means you get a do-over. It means the past, no matter how dark, no matter how much sunshine is back there, the past no longer equals the future. And so my question to Bina is, and they probably are curious too, when you hear those words, today is my January 1st, what do you hear? And what was one of the setbacks, one of the challenges you had in your own life that you had to bounce back from?
The biggest challenge I had to step back from was releasing the mom guilt with my children. I think that was like the minute I realized that my all three of my kids have special needs, and releasing the mom guilt that I did something wrong, I carried them wrong, my pregnancy, I did something incorrect, my genes was not good enough. The minute I released all of that and I embraced them to be who they are and to just incorporate their presence into my life was the biggest breakthrough I can ever have. The other one is just really, they taught me how to stay in alignment. They taught me how to have patience. They taught me how to stay cool and collected, yet super direct at the same time. But they also taught me boundaries. And I didn't have really good boundaries maybe 2 or 3 years ago. And now, as a business owner and as a mom or as a Supermom CEO, boundaries is the biggest challenges I've overcame was learning those strong boundaries of what I want and what I need to do and putting my kids' needs first at all times.
Thanks for sharing. Thanks for being so authentic with us. What do you enjoy most about what you're doing these days? Sound like you're having a lot of fun with the family and in your business. What do you enjoy most?
Mhm. Putting a smile on someone's face, like having them truly feel heard in a way that they've never felt heard before, and making their dreams a reality. And it could just be a dream of they want to vacation more, or they want more balance in their life, or they just want to feel more organized in their house. It doesn't always necessarily have to be about business. But the business side, it's really giving the community a place where you're able to come to me and to my company, and you're going to feel valued. You're going to feel heard. You're going to feel that there's no judgment, and you're able to tell me anything you want, your deepest, darkest secrets, and it's 100% confidential. And that is just a blessing that I'm able to give to the world.
I'm so glad you're doing that, by the way. One of my favorite questions to ask is what's one of the best pieces of advice you've ever been given? And I always like to frame the conversation that you've had so many mentors along this journey of life, and we all
Mm-hmm.
have, and success indeed is a team sport. But if you had to reach out and grab one piece of advice that you've been given that you hold near and dear to your heart, you want to share with us, what would it be?
Be 100% you. Don't let don't let anybody else tell you what you should do, what you can do. This is how it needs to be. The biggest advice I've gotten from a dear friend of mine is just be you and stay with what your power is, and let go of the social stigma, and your power, your embracement will shine as soon as you just embrace your own power.
Ah, I like that. What do you do for fun when you're not out saving the world, trying to make a difference, help people dream and believe and achieve? Like, what do you do for fun?
I honestly, my fun time is with my children. It's with my husband. Like, we go to the park, we go to trips, we're going, it's really that quality family time that really enjoys me. That doesn't mean I don't like a good book behind on the television in a quiet time, but it's really just doing things around my children, and seeing them light up lights me up. But for myself, I really love to just people watch, because it's empowering to see how people are, how they're doing things, kind of getting what they're doing in society. And it's a beautiful thing to do. And it just lights me up just to see people in the presence of where they are today, and just letting them be in the moment that they need to be.
Hmm. How did you always want to be an RN nurse when you first started, when you were younger? How did you find yourself in nursing in that field?
I've always wanted to be a nurse. Since I was 3 years old, I was always trying to pretend to put band-aids on people, pretend I had a broken arm. I was very young when I was like 14, 15 years old. I was placed in certain situations where it was an emergency situation, and I had no medical background back then. And I just always knew that my intuition always kicked in where I wanted to help. And even though I was scared, I didn't have that much background back then. I didn't have any background back then. I just always knew this is what I wanted to do. And so nursing was just a blessing because once I became an RN, just being able to do that with a whole lot of medical background and be able to touch people's hearts when they're at their most difficult time in the world, or the difficult moment in their life, it's very fulfilling. And that part of me that's always there. Like that will never, I don't think that'll ever change. I just really
And you
want to touch people's hearts.
and what's so incredible, the reason I asked that question is that you still have the opportunity to speak to organizations and to companies and to share your story and your message. And when you're speaking to companies and organizations, what's one of the messages that you share with them that really impacts and helps that audience? And there might be some folks right now that are listening. They're brand speakers, by the way, folks that are listening right now that may
Yeah.
have conferences or they may have retreats and so forth. So I may be putting you on the spot, by the way, but I know you can
No.
handle it. But what's one or two of the things that you share with audiences that really help companies and organizations just be a better company?
So the biggest talk that I actually do around speaking engagements, it's a title called What the Diagnosis. And with this particular topic, I am talking about everyday people that come up with diagnosis that may be fatal, that may be life changing, and how do you adapt that into your life, but also how do you adapt that to your work? And how do you bridge that, community back from having the stress from home, having those silent struggles, and then how do you bridge that into building a community at work so you show up fully present, able to work, and people, just the release of social stigma goes away. So an example is like, say somebody was diagnosed with cancer. Cancer is a good one that people come in. When people hear I have cancer, there's a lot of fears. There's a lot of emotions that go through it. And that can also relate to how people perform at work or in corporations or bedside or wherever they're working is. And what my presentation does, or even what my program involves, is really giving that employee that safe place to talk about their feelings, what they're doing, giving them, I don't give medical advice, but at least give them a strategy of how to do things in their life, asking for help, building their own community, and then how to really incorporate that with going to work and being open about it with their managers or their HR directors, and really giving them a resource to really embrace the two together. And so on my talk that I do, it's called What the Diagnosis. It really teaches people how to go back to being empathetic and how to really go back to it ultimately starts with the conversation with, like today, hi Shay, how's it going today? How are you? And
I'm
really
doing
going
fine. How
back
are
to
you
that.
doing?
But do you see, like, that pause, that happiness, that part comes back where some people forget just to go back and saying, hey Shay, how's it going today? Knowing that you may be not on your energy level has shifted, and then no one understands why, because people are not truly understanding what's going on in their house, in their home life. And those silent struggles does build into the corporate world. And what I do is I really bridge that pike so people's home life is able to be better, so they're able to show up way better, way more productive, way more confident at work because they feel valued. And my presentation goes into a huge detail where people come in as individuals, but my goal is by the end of my talk is they leave as a community. And that's the biggest
Well
mission.
said. That is so well said. So As we come down the home stretch, I have a two-part question. Part one is, what type of clients are you looking to work with these days? By the way, that's pretty cool. And number two, how can folks best connect with you? How can they stay in this conversation over and beyond today?
So I have two parts to my business. I help other large organizations enhance their wellness program by developing or enhancing the employee relations. And that one, it's really going to mold to what the company is looking for. So it's not an a la carte type of thing. I really work with companies, really see where their needs are, and I really do help get, like, maybe if their satisfaction rates are low. Well, how can I help you guys to build your satisfaction rates up? And I really do a deep dive with that. The other part is I help other nurse coaches get into large organizations. So they teach my model. I teach people or other nurse coaches my model. So they're able to enhance other large organizations, whether it's small, big, or large, and just to pay this forward. So that way people are just feeling more and more empowered, whether it's at home and at work.
And how can people best connect with you? They're just like, oh, I'm on the fence.
That's a good
idea. Cool. Do I have to find the giraffe? I mean, what do I need to do in order to get a chance to meet with her? I don't know. So let's ask her, how can folks best connect with you? You got us on the edge of our seats now. Come on, give it to us. Give it to us.
So you can follow me on Facebook, Bina Bendale or Bina Nurse Coach. That's my business page. I'm also on LinkedIn. And you can also reach me at my website, which is binanursecoach.com. And all the information you have is there. My corporate, my engagements, my speaking engagements, all the information you need is on my website. But just connect with me on Facebook. Message me. I'll always say hi. It's always me.
Me too. Thank you so much for being on the Happy Entrepreneur Show. We appreciate it. I know you have 4 kids and a husband, but you're doing some amazing things. So thank you so much.
3. Don't add a 4th one in there. 3. My husband will kill me.
Sorry, 3, not 4, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not 3, not 4. With that being said, let me say so much. Thank you so much. Thank you to the viewers. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for watching. Without you, there is no show. And every night at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I never get tired of sharing with you that you're amazing. You're incredible. You're so freaking awesome. You've got greatness inside you. And as you're watching right now, for you, the best is still yet to come, because today is your January 1st. The best is yet to come. The best is yet to come. Your better days are ahead of you. With that being said, my name is still Shay Brown, the Happy Entrepreneur. Good night. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye, Bina. Peace. We out here, everybody.
Bye.